How will the earth end? This is a question that has intrigued philosophers and scientists since time immemorial. But today, scientists are fairly certain of how our planet would end. Imagine the sun as a gigantic burning engine that has been running smoothly for about 4.6 billion years. Right now, it is in the middle age stage of its life, happily converting hydrogen into helium in its core through nuclear fusion, which is what helps keep it shining. But what will happen in the future? In the future, the sun will run out of fuel in about 5 billion years. Just like a car running low on gas, the sun will eventually use up most of its hydrogen fuel. But instead of stopping immediately, it will go through a dramatic transformation. You can see how the sun will look in about 5 billion years. After that, the sun will become a red giant. The sun will get huge. With no more hydrogen to burn, the core will start collapsing under its own gravity. This collapse makes the outer layers of the sun expand hundreds of times its current size, turning into a red giant, a bloated, cooler, but much larger version of itself. The sun will grow so big that Mercury and Venus will almost certainly be swallowed up. Earth is also in the danger zone. It might get swallowed too, or it might just barely escape but become a scorched wasteland. The Earth's last days will be filled with boiling oceans and melting rocks. Even if Earth is not swallowed, life will be long gone. The expanding sun will become so hot that all the oceans will boil away. The atmosphere will be stripped away. All the rocks on Earth will start melting. Earth will look like a dry, lifeless, overheated wasteland, nothing like the blue planet we know today. Eventually, the sun will shed its layers. It will become a planetary nebula. After some time as a red giant, the sun will not be able to hold on to its outer layers anymore. These layers will drift away into space, forming a beautiful glowing cloud of gas called a planetary nebula. What happens after this? After this is the final stage when the sun will be a white dwarf, as you can see in front of you. What's left of the sun will be a super dense core, also called as the white dwarf. This will be a tiny, hot, and dim object about the size of the earth but incredibly dense. 1 teaspoon of white dwarf material would weigh as much as a car. This white dwarf will slowly cool over trillions of years, fading away into darkness. What happens to the Earth? Will the Earth be completely destroyed? That is still uncertain. If Earth's orbit changes slightly due to the Sun losing mass, it might avoid being swallowed, but will still be completely uninhabitable. If not, it will simply fall into the Sun and be vaporized completely. And what about humans? By then, if humans are still around, they would have needed to find another planet or solar system to live in billions of years earlier. The sun's beautiful goodbye. Though the sun's death means the end of Earth, it is also part of a grand cosmic cycle. The material from the sun's outer layers will eventually mix with space and form new stars and planets, meaning that the atoms that once made up Earth might become part of a whole new world someday. Thank you so much for listening.